It is over. Your search is done. Let fate choose now. The righteous one.
Hello everyone and welcome to Whispers of War, show number 11. I'm your host Sil, and as you can tell with my husky voice, I got the lurgies again. You know, you think you're over a cold and then it just comes back with a frickin' vengeance. So that's also why this show is out a little bit later, because I felt rotten yesterday and I just didn't feel like recording. Also, I sounded much worse. I know that's very difficult to believe, but yeah, I sounded horrible. So, no show yesterday, sorry, a little bit late, but at least there's a show. I'm going to keep on recording despite feeling so crap. I just don't know for how long. We'll see how long my voice will last for. So, let's start with show 11. What have I been doing this week? Well, in all fairness, I think my computer was having a little bit of an issue as well, because as soon as I started to play World of Warcraft, I noticed there was a big difference in smoothness and, dare I say, lag. Looking at it, it didn't seem like there was anything wrong. In all fairness, my graphics card is not that old. Nothing really that would show me, okay, it's something with World of Warcraft. I tried opening other things, so you know what you start doing as everyone with a computer does. You start different programs just to see what it is, and yeah, it just seemed in the end that it was a Windows update and a Malwarebytes update. So they really messed up with the speed of my computer completely, and it has also taken me several days to actually, and I think, dare I say, that it's finally been fixed, I hope. I still don't know if this will be a permanent solution. I downloaded a few tools that the interwebs has suggested to me. Don't worry, it's not Trojan viruses or things like that, but something to block the updates from Windows 10 to come into my life and into my computer. It's like a horrible STD that just doesn't want to leave or something, so hopefully that will work now. I've changed some settings also via the internet that said, okay, this way you won't get Windows 10 updates immediately. I'm just hoping that will work, because I was pretty sick and tired of fixing it yesterday, and then overnight it just downloaded that update again, ruining my life this morning. So, yeah, not too happy, but now everything seems to be running perfectly again. So, yeah, good stuff, I guess. And now let's just hope that it will work. I did make a recovery point, just to be certain, and I called it before everything got fucked. So hopefully that will help me in the future, I hope. Anyhow, that's all my computer woes and my personal health woes, but because of that I have not played a lot of World of Warcraft. I did try to do some other things though. This morning I actually saw that Hallow's End started, and I absolutely love that holiday. I love Halloween IRL, but I really like Hallow's End in the game. Just seeing the pumpkins everywhere, and it's a great way. I don't know if it's a super great way, but it's a good way to get a little bit of experience on your tunes that are low. Like, for instance, I probably should wait until I reach Northrend. Not Northrend, what is it? Outland? No, I'm sick. What's... Draenor, that's it, until I reach the Draenor area, because God knows I am not looking forward to leveling over there. But yeah, I just thought, you know what, I'll just take my little troll warrior around and just collect all the candy buckets, because it's quite chill to do that, and you get a little bit of experience and do some quests in between, and I know I might, get some of the pets that I haven't gotten yet with all the candy buckets that I might find. I don't know. It keeps me busy. You have to keep yourself entertained, right? I'm a little bit debating what to do now, because I'm still I'm grinding rep for every faction on the Horde side that is BFA, but in all fairness, I'm only really doing it via the app, because I cannot be bothered to do any dailies anymore. I really don't want to. I'm not enjoying that, so I thought, why am I making this into a second job? I'm not going to. I will only do some dailies if my work orders are running out of resources. As simple as that. So, not really jumped on the rogue anymore, not at this point in time. I should really do a raid, but again, I can't be bothered. I think that's because my computer lagged so much, and I thought I don't want to even try it. Of course, I could do it now that it's fixed. But I'm actually quite enjoying running around on lower levels. So I'm a little bit debating, what am I going to do? Am I going to level my shaman first, or am I going to level my warrior? Now the shaman is already 110, so it would just be BFA again. Or am I actually going to just, you know, run around in Pandaria for a little bit on my warrior and just see how that goes? I'm leaning towards the warrior, even though I do love enhance, but I just don't know. Are they going to buff shamans in 8.1? Has anyone heard? I hope so. I don't know. That would be nice, because I used to love shaman. But that brings me to the next thing, actually. I need your help, all of you, because I am very tempted to roll a healer. And with roll, I just mean pick one of my alts that I already have and start leveling them and gearing them. Not that I particularly really love healing that much, but I want something else for a little bit. I've played DPS for a long time now, and I want to try something a little bit different. So just to give you a little bit of an insight of what I've already done with healing. I used to be a druid healer for decades, but I'm not a fan of you know, the whole anticipated damage that might come in. So you have to pre-halt everyone. I'm not a fan of that, really. So, yeah, rather not. I'd rather not have a druid. I used to really like chamois healing in the past. I don't know if that's still a good, viable healer. Like I said, I don't need to do mythic pluses yet. I'm very happy just to try it out on raids and the rare dungeon, maybe mythic plus 4. I know that's nothing compared to what some do, but yeah, for me, really low. I don't want to do anything really high. Is 4 high? I don't even know. I don't really even bother with stuff like that, but I want to have that option, if that makes sense. Paladin, never healed on them. I'm much more like, I like to smash things in the face with a paladin, so I don't think I would enjoy being a healer on her, if I'm honest. Now, that doesn't leave me with a lot of stuff, so there is, I believe, the monk and the priest left. Is there anything else? I think that's it, isn't it? And I'm leaning towards priest, but I don't particularly like disc. I used to love disc when it was bubbling everyone and you sat back. Yep, I was the lazy healer. That's the kind of healing I really enjoyed, just because it made me feel like a freaking god. But I don't know, I like direct healing. That's probably also why I liked shaman so much. So either priest or monk, and monk is one of those classes I just have not figured out. My highest monk ever was level 40, and back in like when they first came out, I just couldn't get to grips with them at all. But I had the same thing with the rogue, really, and now I really love rogue. So I'm just a little bit like, do I try and play the monk more, or do I try and play the priest more? You know, because I also have to level it. I just want to know which one would be easier to pick up. So what do you guys think? What healer should I go? I mean, if you guys say, no, you really need to try healer, whatever, I will try it. You know, just give me a good reason why. So please send me a message in Twitter, or send me an email with a very detailed description which healer you think is best and which isn't, with pros, cons, all those kind of things. I don't know, maybe if she's listening, Fasha, maybe you want to make me a schedule of how to pick a healer, because I know that you plan the same like me, girl, so maybe that would work. I don't know, maybe I need that planner how you did it. So yeah, I'm a little bit confused of what to do now. I just want something else. Yeah. Other than that, still running around in Goldshire. Never disappoint, if I'm honest. I'm still having a blast with the silly RP that's going on. Just normal RP for me. I don't know what everyone else does. Well, I do know what everyone else does because I read all the descriptions just because it's hilarious. But yeah, not for me. I actually tried to go into Silvermoon just to see if it was really like Goldshire, but it really isn't. It's very disappointing. I don't know if I just was in the wrong time on Argent Dawn and Silvermoon. That could be it, or I'm just not looking in the right areas of Silvermoon. But it was very disappointing with the RP that was going on. I think I saw a few people who had very colourful descriptions, and that was really it. I didn't see much RP on that side at all, so yeah, my troll was very disappointed with that, and I just went back to Orgrimmar for some plain and simple troll orc RP, and that sounds so dirty, but I don't mean it like that at all. So yeah, that's really been my my weekend. Wow. So I will not bore you anymore with my antics and my incredibly sore throat. I will let you listen to an incredibly interesting interview I had with someone who didn't start, the whole Warcraft franchise that soon. So it's from, I guess, a relatively new player experience. And I want to introduce you to Jordrend, and we are talking all about the state of BFA. So I will see you on the flip side. And with me today, I am joined by a very special guest. Hello, Jordrend.
Hello there.
Hello, I hope I said your name correct this time.
Yeah, you got it right.
Okay, good. That's fine. I have plenty of opportunity to mispronounce it still. So Jordrend, tell the listeners a little bit about yourself and promote everything that you're doing.
Yes, I'm mostly known on Twitter for my Twitter handle, Jordrend. Got into a lot of Emerald Dream stuff with my that's my main server. Mm-hmm. I also have a YouTube and Twitch. They're both called FaZe Zox. I'm in the process of changing their names to Jordrend as well. I mainly do, I stream mostly. That's what I mostly, it goes to YouTube and Twitch when I stream. And I mainly stream stuff like raiding and just in general playing WoW. But yeah, that's mostly what I do.
That's really cool. How are you finding streaming World of Warcraft? Because I am in Twitch now and again, but I have my moments. But how are you finding streaming on Twitch with the interaction with people and everything?
Well, I'm honestly, I stream usually when I'm raiding, so it's mainly just to document it, and also sometimes I get people watching, like I get my guildmates watching and stuff like that. But I'm not like big enough on Twitch to the point where I'm like we have like an audience yet. I used to actually years ago when I like was streaming CS:GO, I had a bit of an audience, and it's cool interacting with your Twitch audience. It's kind of like having a YouTube audience, like
Mm-hmm.
when you're a YouTuber, but it's live, so it's much more interactive.
That's really cool. I really like that. So, what do you prefer if you have to pick YouTube or Twitch?
Honestly, it's a hard choice because with YouTube, you get a lot more creative like freedom in terms of like if you want to make like a WoW gameplay video, you can do tons of editing and make it really much higher quality. But with Twitch, it's also a much more interactive experience with your audience and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So honestly, they both have their pros and cons, and it's hard to pick.
No, I can understand that. I completely get where you're coming from, and I think YouTube in the later years has provided almost like the same quality now as Twitch has.
Yeah, with their YouTube gaming, you could stream pretty much on YouTube just as well as on Twitch.
Absolutely. So I see Twitch having a big competitor there. Now, question for you. Let's see if we have another one in the house. Horde or Alliance?
Yeah, I play both factions personally. For pretty much all of Legion, I only had Alliance characters. I joined in Legion, but so mostly I've been Alliance. I'm pretty much Alliance at heart. But at this point in BFA, I'm playing both Alliance and Horde, since in BFA you have like the split between the factions where you have like different content, like very different content in fact, sometimes for each faction. So I wanted to see all the content, so I boosted with the Legion. Actually, I got the level 100 boost. I boosted a Horde mage, and I didn't get to leveling it till like right before BFA. But then I finally did level it, and I'm actually raiding on both my Alliance and Horde characters now. So
wow, that's dedication.
I'm Alliance at heart. Yeah, I'm definitely Alliance at heart though.
as I have most of my guests who are all seem to be diehard Alliance, which is nothing wrong with that. I've been Alliance for a very long time. So how did you start your love for World of Warcraft?
Yeah, that's always a good story to tell. Well, it all started like actually it was like I think the night before the Legion launch night. So like Legion launch night, the day before it, I was that's when I was playing a lot of CS:GO at that point. That's pretty much the only game I was playing, in fact. And I was in a CS:GO competitive match, and somebody mentioned WoW and how the reason they're bad is because they've been playing too much WoW. And that's not technically the first time I played WoW. Actually, years before that, during like 2012, like during Mist of Pandaria, there was the like World of Warcraft Big Bang Theory episode, and I saw it. And that's obviously like the best marketing they could do is when they put it on like TV shows and stuff like with South Park. But they put it on. It was on the Big Bang Theory, and I saw it, and I was like, "Wow, that looks cool." And I played it for like till like level 6, and then I got bored because I had too low of an attention span at that point, to be honest. So then I heard about WoW again in CS:GO, and I was like, "Hey, might as well give it another try." And smart choice, when I first logged on, when creating my character, I didn't choose my class, which is why my main's a warrior, because it starts pretty much automatically in warrior lots of the time.
Yep.
But I did pick my race, and instead of picking a human, I picked a worgen, which was smart because the worgen starting zone is like very much more guided than like the human starting zone.
Yeah.
And it's one of the best starting zones in the game too, so that pretty much got me hooked.
Oh, that's really cool. So you main a worgen now?
Yeah, worgen warrior. He's been my main for a while, though he's gone from realm to realm. He was originally on Dalaran, which is like the new player's realm. Eventually I transferred him off to Emerald Dream because I was interested in the world PvP and RP. And then a lot later, like in late 2017, I transferred him to Storm Rage so he can join my current raiding guild, Pattern 10. That's my favorite thing in WoW, honestly, is raiding.
Ah, that's good to hear. That's good to hear. I haven't done any raiding except for LFR yet, so it's just my raiding days have been well beyond me. In honesty, I'm not from the 40 mans anymore. I can't, not even with smaller groups anymore. So this was a very interesting thing because you said that you would like to talk about the state of the game, and
it's an interesting thing to talk about right now.
Absolutely. And it's very like two-sided because I hear a lot of positive, but I also hear a lot of negative, and I think some of it is very justified. They
both make very good points because there's a lot of positive right now, really good stuff in BFA that's just really good, and there's also its share of bad stuff. And it's good to talk about both of them.
Tell me, what do you think of where BFA stands at this point in time?
I think it has a lot of potential, honestly, because right now, especially with the story, there's like, in the terms of the story, there's much more potential than there's ever been before, because we don't know at all where BFA is going to go pretty much past 8.1, which is something we've never really had before. We always knew, in MoP, we knew we were going to fight Garrosh and Legion. We had an idea, we'd obviously be fighting the Legion the whole expansion. We didn't exactly know where we'd go, but still, most story potential right now in BFA. The systems are ambitious and they have a lot of potential. They do need some fixing, especially the island expeditions right now. I think that could really, really be improved. Warfronts I do like. I can't wait, especially till there's more Warfronts, so that you're doing Warfronts more often in different zones. But yeah, I think that BFA right now, as much as it has its issues, it does have a lot of potential to be a really good expansion in the end. As much as that has had a rocky launch. Yeah,
absolutely. What do you think with the announcement? Because we can talk about it, because I talked about it previously, that they now want to put the Warfront in Darkshore.
Yeah, that looks cool. I really look forward to when there's more than one Warfront going on. The Darkshore Warfront especially looks really cool because it looks like, I'm not going to spoil anything, but there's spicy story stuff going on there, which is good, because in the Arathi Highlands Warfront, there was pretty much no story to it. It was just, the Horde's invading, gotta go stop them, or we gotta get Arathi Highlands for some reason. And the much as the zone revamp was nice, I think Darkshire is going to be a lot cooler because there's just a lot of lore potential there with the Night Elves, and also the Forsaken are going to be there. So that's exciting. Plus, it's just going to be good to have 2 Warfronts on a cycle instead of just waiting for the Arathi one to open up.
Yeah, and when they do that, it actually gives more chances of opening more Warfronts all over the place, really, because let's face it, they could go back to Pandaria even to start Warfronts there if they wanted to.
Yeah, I think the Warfronts is pretty much a great way to start revamping the old world as well. I was like 14 years old now, and more than probably half the zones in the game look really outdated and not even close to like how the game looks today.
Yeah.
So this Warfronts is a great way to revamp the old world. I'd love to see some Warfronts in like, I don't know about Outland since it's kind of useless to us, but Northrend, that would be really cool. I'd love to see like imagine a Storm Peaks zone revamp. Imagine how epic
That would be cool. That would be cool.
Yeah.
But then can you also imagine that everyone will go for that timeless Proto Drake again?
Yeah, that would probably be an issue. I don't know how they deal with that.
A lot of people will be like, get out of my area. Don't.
Yeah, all the people that are farming it. I farmed the timeless Proto Drake before. I did like last year, I think. I spent like 2 weeks or so. I'd go on every day, and every now and then I'd go for a few hours just waiting for it. Never got it. It's such a rare mount.
Yeah.
Rare find.
It's a hard one to get, I think. If you would have to pinpoint some things down that they should really work on, I mean, if you have to go on to maybe not disappointment, that might be a hard word, but something that you're like, oh, I expected more from this.
There's stuff that's like underwhelming, right? Because you have Azerite, and Azerite is the replacement for artifacts and artifact power and all that stuff. And that system, artifacts, the weapons, and the system was really amazing in Legion because you were getting these epic, legendary, famous weapons that were super powerful. And each of them had their own trait progression that was spec specific. You'd get traits that would change your specs. There was the legendaries, which they took out as much as lots of people didn't like legendaries because it was a lot of RNG. I personally liked it because it was something extra to work towards. But if they like did a legendary system was still good because it would change up your specs and you had all that. Now instead we've got the Heart of Azeroth necklace. You've got armor pieces, which each of them have their own traits, but the traits themselves are not that interesting. It's all really just like percentage increases and stuff like that. And then the only good Azerite trait I've got so far that actually changes my spec is on the Frost Mage, and it's really cool. But we need a lot more of that. And in general, there's just because of how boring the Azerite system is, and also how, in general, just underwhelming it is compared to the artifact power. I at least lack motivation to even go out and farm it. Like there's some weeks where I just don't feel like doing island expeditions, and then I can move on to the next problem right now, which is island expeditions. That's like one of the main content in BFA, and island expeditions are ambitious. They're like new. They got a lot of potential to be really cool if they make it a lot more actually random, and they make the rewards happen a lot more often. Because right now when I go into an island expedition, it just feels like I'm killing trash for an hour so I can get my weekly and get that good 7th Legion Honor Bound rep to work against the allied races. But other than that, there really isn't much to it.
Yeah, I know exactly how you feel, because I was even really confused about island expeditions because you don't get a lot of explanation why you're doing it, and okay, so I need to do this, and then what? It feels very underwhelming for what was promised. Yeah,
especially for what was promised to be like a really dynamic, cool, the most replayable system ever. But it feels like it's really a chore where every week I got to go on and log in and kill trash for an hour on these islands. And yeah, I'll admit the music is good, but other than that, it's just going around and killing these mobs, and it's really not. It's really just not. I don't feel like doing it. Last week, and I didn't even do it. I just couldn't push myself to do it. This week, I do plan on doing it, but I look forward to in the future because apparently they are making changes to it for it to be better. And from what it looks like.
Well, we can talk about that a little bit, and I'm putting warnings out there for people. We're going to talk about some things in 8.1 that might be spoilerific for you, so I would maybe like fast forward 5 to 10 minutes.
Like try to avoid the more story spoilers and just gameplay stuff. But yeah, it definitely looks like they're making some. The thing is, as much as Blizzard messed up, I think they did launch BFA a bit early. There wasn't enough beta testing. A big problem with beta testing also was that there was no boost to 120, which led to like the least ever amount of people testing 120 characters on beta. And because of that, there was just not enough testing, and they didn't get enough feedback on big issues with BFA before it came out. But luckily, Blizzard, I do think they care enough about WoW, and it does look like they're listening and they're trying to make it better, which is good to know.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems, I don't know if you got that feeling, but I get more and more the feeling that they actually listen and watch the forums and see what people like and don't like.
Yeah, they definitely. I think they're definitely listening because lots of the changes they're making are stuff that people are complaining about and asking for, which is good. And that also goes. They also are even paying attention in terms of story. Obviously, I'm not going to spoil 8.1 stuff, but lots of the story stuff in 8.1 is stuff that players are asking for, stuff that they want, which is really cool to see. They're taking the plot in the direction that the players want.
Yeah.
Developing characters that players want to see developed and stuff like that.
Yeah, exactly. And I think they're also going back to some characters like Vol'jin, for instance.
Yeah. They're really it's great that they're going back to characters that people feel didn't get what they deserve. Like they're going everybody loves Bonsamdi. There's gonna be more Bonsamdi stuff in 8.1. Everybody loves Vol'jin, and he got a crappy death in Legion because if the Alliance King died and the Horde War Chief didn't, everybody would be yelling about faction bias. And plus they needed to put Sylvanas in for DFA, but so they killed off Vol'jin in a pretty shitty way, and now they're finally giving him some closure now, and we've already started getting that, and there's actually a lot more coming in 8.1. And then you've got characters like Sour Fang, where he was just rotting in prison. And a spoiler warning here, he will be in 8.1, but I won't go more than that, though. But yeah, he's there, and it's great. And Zappy Boy is also going to be making the return. So,
and I think that's great. Just it is a bit of fan service, but I think also it's just really, really good knowing that they do tend to listen to the players. I'm sure that they still have a plan of what they want to do and what they don't want to do, but I think they are very much still a business, and they know that if they would upset the players too much, they would lose revenue.
Yeah, I think that with 8.2, we're probably going to see the big, good changes coming for, more, because with 8.1, they was close to finishing it before BFA came out, but now they got all the feedback now. So 8.2, I'm looking forward to that even more than 8.1, to be honest, even though we know less about it.
Yeah, and it's probably also all interlocked with BlizzCon for this year, and
we're gonna see, I bet, a bunch of stuff about the future in BlizzCon, which is exciting.
Yes, I'm looking forward to that as well.
Also Classic WoW, which is really exciting. It's funny with Classic WoW, I'm a player who joined in Legion, yet I really look forward to playing Classic WoW because I've missed so many more than a decade of WoW content and story and gameplay. And I've went to private servers in the past, and I enjoy it, and I look forward to playing Classic WoW.
That's actually so nice to hear, because for people and I don't like calling myself a veteran, but for people like me who've played from almost the beginning, or the beginning or almost the beginning, a lot of us are like, nah, don't want Classic anymore. You can leave that. But that's actually a very valid point for those of us who started playing later.
Yeah, especially me. I've only started playing on Legion.
Yeah, if it's Legion or people who come in now at BFA or even a little bit before that, I think even if you come in at, I wouldn't say Wrath of the Lich King, but maybe Cataclysm or Pandaria, then it's very difficult to actually go back to anything that had to do with Classic. So,
yeah, I've tried in-game the... in terms of trying to get that, I've done in game the Project 60 and 70, where you make a guild, you level up to 60, you level cap, and then you go and do the content, and that was actually a lot of fun. The problem with it is that those guilds tend to fall apart because nobody can agree on what rules there should be. I did a Project 70 guild, and it was Project 60 at first, and it was going great, and then in Project 70, the content was coming out so fast, and there wasn't enough. There was 2 raid teams when we only had enough people for really to honestly do one, and there was content coming out too fast, and the attunements were way too time consuming, and it just collapsed. And so, which is why I look forward to maybe with these Blizzard, if they make a Classic WoW, and maybe they'll go past that and make Burning Crusade servers. But I look forward to that because then you can actually get the authentic experience.
I think I might have to get you back on the show just to once that's out after a month or so, just to get your view on what you think of it.
I'll see you in 2020 then, because it's got a while to go.
That's very true. Let's see if I'm still podcasting by then. I'm hoping so, but you never know.
On show 100 and 200.
Oh God, yeah. So if you had to pick something that you are the most impressed with in Battle for Azeroth, what would it be? Oh my
God, it's definitely the story. Because right now with the story, it's just really as much as I haven't played past expansions, I love the WoW story. I've looked through I read the novels. I look through the story of all the past WoW expansions. This has been the best so far. Certainly better than Legion in the sense that, well, one of the big things they did right is not spoiling the entire rest of the expansion and where it's going from the get-go, like they did with Mist of Pandaria, where Garrosh is evil and he's going to be the final raid boss, or Wrath of the Lich King. Yeah, it's obviously going to be the Lich King. Right now, we have no idea where the expansion's going, which makes the story a lot more interesting because we don't know where the story is going to go. They also, in general, the writing's just fantastic. The characters, this expansion seems to be focusing a lot more on like personal character arcs, which is great because who doesn't love the different WoW characters, and they've got development for all of them. Especially, best example would be Jaina's story. I'm not going to go into like spoilers of what happens, but the Realm of Torment cinematic, like one of the best cinematics ever. Just so good all around, you know, with the storytelling in BFA. It's just fantastic, you know.
That's really good to hear. How are you finding raiding compared to Legion?
Yeah, in terms of the instances, BFA, I could already tell probably will have better instances than Legion because they've learned from some of their mistakes in Legion in terms of like modern boss design. Because in Legion, there was raids where it was like too much on personal responsibility, and if one person messed up, it would wipe the raid. They seem to have learned from that, and it's as much as there is some of that now, it's like there's not as much of it. It's more like working as a team, and the instances in general are great. The dungeons. From the get-go, I really love the dungeons. My favorite would probably be Waycrest Manor, just because it's a haunted house dungeon, for God's sakes. How could you not love that?
Who doesn't love that, in all honesty?
Yeah. The dungeons have great music. They look great. The bosses are good. The trash is good enough. Yeah, in terms, the dungeons are great. They really are enjoyable. Better than the Legion dungeons. I had gripes with lots of the like Legion dungeons in general. Like lots of them I just really didn't enjoy doing, and I did a good bit of Mythic Plus at the start of Legion. I haven't done much in BFA because I get to doing it lots of the time. I don't have the time, but I really had some issues with some of the Legion dungeons. But in BFA, the dungeons are just fantastic. And in terms of raiding, Uldir is a fantastic raid, especially for like a first raid of the expansion. Where usually that type of raid, like Emerald Nightmare as an example, it's super face roll, super easy because it's gotta be since it's the first raid of the expansion. But you don't have that right now. With Uldir, it took a week for them to clear it on Mythic. It's a really challenging raid, but it's challenging, but it's not like broken challenging where the bosses just aren't fun and they just hit too hard. But the mechanics are actually really challenging. It's just a really fun raid. And Uldir in general, I mean, Uldir could have improved in terms of like the look and the music, because honestly I find that it's not that visually or aesthetically pleasing, because we've seen a lot of the stuff with the Underrot and even the Titan theme. It's just like Zandalar kind of. It's not even really that Titanic theme, but it's still in terms of the bosses and stuff, Uldir is a fantastic raid, especially for a first raid, you know. That's
really good to hear. And it's especially, I think, for someone, you know, no disrespect for like a newer player like you, it's really good to hear that they can still grab new players to get into this game and not just bank on the people who've been here forever. Yeah, like, because I tried to do raiding at the start. I was in like a very newbie guild that would like go and do progression in normal. And I would stay with that guild for a bit until I transferred to Emerald Dream, when I kind of stopped raiding for a while. And then I tried to raid Nighthold, not so much. Got into a normal raiding guild in Tuma Sargeras and did some progression with them. We killed normal Kil'jaeden the day before his LFR wing came out, and that was kind of cool. And then and then that guild kind of collapsed due to its own issues. I was actually on vacation when it collapsed, so I leave on vacation, guild's going great, I come back. At least you don't have to deal with the drama at the point in time. Yeah, I didn't have to, which was great. But then that's when I transferred to Stormrage. I went and joined the guild Bad Intent, and did heroic raiding with them for the first time. We cleared normal in like the first week, which was like crazy. And I got better with them, and we cleared Antorus heroic, which was my first ever ahead of the curve. Wow. And then we got moved on from that, and then we took a break. The guild didn't really feel like doing Mythic because they had like it was tiring, you know, going for all of Legion. So I just took a big break until BFA, and in the meantime I got better, and now I'm doing Uldir and heroic progression, and it's good because right now, as a new player, it's not that hard to get into like into the raiding scene and like start actually doing it. Okay, that's really good to know.
Yeah, I feel like I give a good new player's perspective being around for only like one expansion now.
Yeah, absolutely. No, that I think it's good to hear that, that it's still the threshold of starting is not so bad now for new players, and there's still a lot
Yeah.
to go.
It's especially my advice to new players is always to take your time. Like, because like I as a new player took my time. I didn't get, I did like eventually I like worked up my gold and got like heirlooms at like level 50 or something. I don't know. But I did take my time. I did leveled from scratch to 100, and then I bought Legion, and then to 110. I think one of the main reasons why some people, some new players quit like pretty much right away is because they buy the new expansion, they boost, they don't know how to play the class. Like I had this because I tried to get a friend to play WoW, and we pretty much did barely any leveling from scratch until he bought the expansion and boosted a character, didn't know how to play it, and then after like a month later he quit because obviously when you do that you're going too fast, which is why I'd suggest my best advice to new players is just to take your time.
That's really good. And yeah, I would agree with that. You can always boost something else afterwards. At least you know the mechanics of the game. And
yeah, it's good to learn slowly.
Absolutely. So if you had to pick one thing that you think is you're just not impressed with Battle for Azeroth, which one would you pick?
Out of all the things, it's Azerite because it just takes down island expeditions because the main reward from island expeditions is Azerite. So that's the main thing I don't like. In terms of, I think I've already gone through the Azerite though. Yeah. Another thing that has an issues right now is class tuning and the way classes play. Some of the classes are just really bad from what I hear from other people. I can't relate to it though because I play a Fury Warrior and a Frost Mage, and those are two of the best like specs in the game right now. Fury Warrior is just so much fun. It's much better than it was in Legion, and Frost Mage is also a really good spec right now. So I can't really relate to that, but I definitely know the problem is there because lots of people are complaining that their classes just feel a bit underwhelming compared to Legion, because in Legion they had the artifacts, they weren't as pruned as they are now, and right now lots of the classes just don't feel good from what I hear.
Yeah, and let's hope that they will get their Shaman and Shadow Priest.
Yeah, the Shadow Priest buff, the Elemental Shaman. But yeah, it looks like those are definitely they're working to try and fix some of that and make the classes feel a bit better.
Yeah,
it's good to know. In terms of other like good stuff in BFA, I think I personally really like the Warfronts. I know it's more of a contentious issue because some people don't like the long wait in between the Warfronts, but I'm fine with that because once there's more than one Warfront, I wouldn't want it to be a weekly thing because then I log on and hey, look at that, I got to do 4 Warfronts now before I can start my dailies. And
like the new world first.
Yeah, which is why I like I'm fine with the long rotation, and I really enjoy. I think Warfronts are a great thing to do once every now and then for a character. It's not something you want to do farm. I wouldn't farm Warfronts. The gear isn't even good enough to be worth farming, but it's definitely fun content to do every now and then. Plus, I love the fact that there's the open world zone where you can, go in and kill the rares, maybe get a mount. On the first week, I got a mount, and I haven't gotten one since. But it's still nice to have something extra to farm. The Warfronts in general are a good feature, I'd say.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, that's more mounts than some of us got. So,
yeah,
well done. Nice one.
No mounts. Yeah, actually, it's funny. I got the mount from Nimar the Slayer, the bat mount. And then a few weeks later, I stopped farming him after I got the mount, obviously. But then a few weeks later, I was right next to him. So I was like, hey, might as well get the tag, see what happens. And I got a bonus mount of the bat mount. Of all mounts to get from Arathi, I got a bonus mount. When I only have one of them. So. Yeah, RNG.
Wow, that's some great RNG there.
Yeah.
Do you have any good tips for the listeners regarding Battle for Azeroth?
Right now, I'd say be patient in terms of Azerite because it's gonna get better. It definitely doesn't. You're not alone in thinking. Probably lots of people feel it's underwhelming and not good. And you're not alone. In terms of the getting into higher level content, this is always my advice in WoW: is play with friends, play with a guild. Because I used to be a solo player during the Nighthold as an example during Legion. I was mostly solo, and raiding was just such a pain in the ass. Well, it didn't help with the fact that I fought at that point that raiding, you can only enter a raid lockout once a week. I fought like normal mode, just like mythic mode in that sense, which was dumb. But that's a noob mistake right there. Don't make that mistake. But pug raiding sucks. Get a guild if you want to do the kind of type of content. Mythic Plus is also great to do with a guild. Having a guild in general is like the best thing. That's like the best tip I could possibly give to anybody if they aren't in a guild doing stuff with them.
That's really good, actually, because that will get me on to my next question. So what has the Warcraft community meant to you?
Different, mix. It's a mixed bag like any game community. There's been a lot of good and some bad. I mean, I've had really good guilds. I was in, just off the top of my head, I've been in some great roleplay guilds. I have characters in Emerald Dream. Roleplaying is something I especially like to do when there's like no raid content going on. It's just something fun to do. I was an officer in the Coalition of Azeroth Guild. Such great guys, just so much fun. Spend RPing with them. I was with them for like probably the longest I ever was in a guild for. Constantly, like actively, like half a year. But definitely, there had some great experiences with the roleplay people. Also, in terms of raiding guilds, I've only been in like 3 kind of, or 4 pretty much, raiding guilds. There was that Project 6070 guild, Lost in Time, and that was pretty good. I liked them. And there was Last Bastion, which is that normal Tumas Argyros guild I was in. And that was, as much as it fell apart, they were still really fun. And then there's the 2 guilds I'm in right now, the Clubhouse on Emerald Dream, and they're great. Really funny people. And then there's Bad Intent, which is my current raiding guild, and they're really good, which is, it's good to be in a group of like good players, because then you do the content well. Because like, it's good to make a comparison. My other guild, the Clubhouse, raids like 10 hours a week, and Bad Intent raids 6 hours a week, and we're up on the same level as the Clubhouse, which is
wow.
It's good. There's the WoW community, as I said, it's a mixed bag. I'm somebody that goes on general discussion every now and then. A rookie mistake, because it's pretty toxic there. But also on Emerald Dream, there's, especially like with my experiences in Emerald Dream, there has been assholes, people that will like PvP people that will go and grief RP events and argue with you on Twitter about it. And but yeah, the WoW community has been a mixed bag from it. There's definitely been a lot of great people I've met.
That's really good. Well, let's go to the 2 extremes then. Do you have a what the fuck moment of the week? I can say week, but if you want to make it a month, that's fine as well.
I mean, honestly, it would probably be when, like, this week at least, if I'm going to say this week, then Mike Morheim quitting as CEO of Blizzard. That's huge. Because he's been like the head of Blizzard forever, and now he pretty much he's stepping down, and that's big. That's probably my biggest what the fuck moment of the week.
I think that's a fair enough point.
Yeah, because that came out of nowhere. I was just watching like an X-Men movie, and I checked my phone. Mike Morhaime steps down as CEO of Blizzard. What? And also now it's going to be what's his name, Jay Allen back as the CEO. I think he's a pretty good fit. He's been the executive producer of WoW for a while, which is good.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think we'll be in good hands.
Yeah.
Have you experienced any random acts of kindness in the game? It could be from yourself or from others.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta think for this one. I mean, obviously in general, in my, especially in like a raid environment, like Bad Intent, giving gear in general just to other people, like when like there's one player that has that's really having trouble gearing up and they're super low eye level, you get like an upgrade that's 5 eye levels for you, and it's like 40 for them, and you give it to them. That's always nice. There's also been like moments where just my guilds have helped me out in general with like raiding and stuff. And overall, there's been like just random acts of kindness. I gotta think of them off the top of my head, though.
No, I can understand that. Sometimes it's just small things. I think a lot of people underestimate, like with just even if you do looking for raid and you just say, "Oh, does anyone need this? Do you want it?" That's
actually, I do some examples. Now, good examples came to my mind when I was into mount farming a lot. And there's, well, first of all, I don't know if you know about the WoW Secrets Finding Discord.
Yes.
They have pretty much people that will give away mounts. They'll go out of their way to find a rare mount, and then they'll share it with a bunch of people.
Oh wow!
And I've gotten like tons of like rare mounts, like 48-hour spawn mobs, like that drop mounts from that. I've done good farm. I've farmed the time lost protege with people from that Discord, and in general, they're very kind, awesome people. I haven't gotten that though to do it much recently because BFA being out.
Yeah, I think everyone's really busy at the moment. But no, that's really good to hear. So my next question, almost like the final question really, which is a very difficult one for some people.
And I can elaborate though on like other stuff about BFA before we end, but yeah.
No, if you want to.
Yeah, but you can continue with the next question for now. Yeah.
The whisper. What would be your whisper if you had to say in anything? So fairy crafting or a wish or anything like that.
So whisper, what is that supposed to mean? Like whispering to Blizzard, or like?
Just it's a bit of a rumor starting thing, or or a fairy craft, or a wish that you would hope that will happen in the future.
So like predicting the future of the story.
Yeah,
I got some good ones about that.
If you want that, you can do that.
Bolvar Dragon will rise, and he'll be the one to stop the war. That's the thing I had the idea of a while ago. It seems like he's coming, he's going to be coming to the stage soon, but yeah, I think that would be a cool thing. Bolvar Dragon, the Lich King coming back to light.
That would be very interesting, especially with Sylvanas. Yeah. That would be interesting.
Yeah. Because like in general, all the death stuff, this expansion, that story is great with Vol'jin Spirit and Bonsamdi, Sylvanas, it's all really one of the big themes of BFA, and it's one that I find to be really cool.
Yeah. Did you have any other things that you wanted to say about BFA?
Let me think. The art and the music is great. Like these zones, man. These zones are incredible in terms of like comparing them to past expansions. The zones are beautiful, especially Zandalar is nice, but sometimes my favorite is Kulturus because I just love like the snow and the cold. But in general, yeah, the zones themselves are really nice. Really the music is also like this expansion is also just fantastic.
Do you have a preference for the Horde or the Alliance zones?
If I was like gonna pick an Alliance favorite and a Horde favorite, I think my favorite zone for the Alliance would be Drusvar because the music is amazing.
Yeah.
The zone looks really cool. Once again, that's the zone with the most mountains. I love snow and stuff like that. Plus it's spooky, October. Yeah. And then you go to Zandalar, and my favorite zone there would probably be Nazmir because it just had the most interesting story, probably, with all the Blood God stuff and Gahoon and the first raid being set there. But yeah. And going on to my next point about the music, yeah, like the music has been just so fantastic this expansion. You had you had I had this point in Tiragard Sound where this one track plays. It reminds me of like one of the orchestral swells from like Skyrim or an Elder Scrolls game, and those are just so beautiful, and every time I get that, chills, and in general the music is just so fantastic, especially some of like these scary Drusvar music, like the one that plays, I think it's called The Rupture from Lakehurst Manor at the end of the dungeon. Such good music, it's just so epic.
That's really good, and especially I think some people don't even play with their musical anymore. They just have their own music, but I think at this point you're missing out now because it's
the music is great. The only place where the music isn't so great, Uldir. I hate this because like the first two bosses in Uldir have music. They use music from Ulduar. It's a sample from Ulduar, and that's perfect. It fits the raid perfectly. It sounds amazing. It really sets the ambience, and then past that, it's all Nazmir. Under type music, and that music is good for the zone, but it's like for the raid, it's like
Fair enough. I think that's a fair enough point. All right, Jordrend, if people want to find out much more about you, where can they find you and your different venues?
Yeah, so I say Twitter is still probably the best one because I'm the most active on Twitter. Battle.net or Discord, you definitely could have me on Discord and Battle.net if you want to play with me or something, just play some WoW with me. But definitely Twitch and YouTube are also great because I stream whenever I raid. You will find me streaming like Progression of my guilds, which is on Friday and Saturday night, and also on Sunday morning, pretty early morning. That's when Ban Intent raids, and those are usually the times where I definitely stream. But yeah, YouTube and Twitch would probably be the best venues if you want to watch me stream and play WoW.
Perfect, and I will put the links for everyone in the show notes so they can find that all.
Thank you. Yeah.
Because I am notoriously bad at spelling, so you've done it for me. So.
Yeah.
But thank you so much for the interview.
No problem. Thanks for having me.
I hope you enjoyed that interview. I really enjoyed talking to Jordrend, and hopefully in a while we'll catch up with him again and see, if his opinion has changed about anything in 8.1 or maybe 8.2 even. But what did you guys think of 8. Or 8.0? Really, that's it, isn't it? So, what do you think of the state of BFA before 8.1 or how it is now? So I asked you guys, have you made it already to level 120? What are you really happy with? What are the things that you wanted them to change or maybe even scrap completely, or just all those things that you're looking forward to? And this is what you all said. So Frasley said, I made it to 120 and still have a ton of stuff to do. I'm enjoying it, but I'm not playing it every moment. I do agree that gear needs reworking. Pawn and at Ask Mr. Robot are my friends for knowing what choices are good to do. The expeditions are being reworked. Yeah, I think the expeditions, that is something that, really needs reworking. I'm so with you on that. Like I said, I didn't even really realize what they were and what the point is, and there's so many videos out there that tell you how they actually should be done. It's really not that clear-cut with what the Ilex expeditions are requesting from you. All you have to do is just loot stuff, and I don't know, I find it quite tedious and boring, but that's me. Who aggroed that said, been 120 for a while, both the priest and the shaman. Or maybe you can tell me which healer to pick then. Enjoying my guild, the story, the cutscenes. What could be better? The whole of BFA seems to be a step back from what Legion gave us. It seems like they were released out of order. I'm really disappointed in gear and drops. I'm sorry to hear that. I'm really sorry to hear that. I do have a little bit of an opinion about the whole story and what Legion offered us and what BFA offers us. But I'll come back after that. Lyric Game said, hi, I have 2 120s and a 114 and a 116. Wow, you've been busy. Love that. Unlike Legion, I can feel I can play my alts. Like Warfronts, not a fan of islands, but some minor tweaks could change that. Do not like Azerife armor, but otherwise I love the game. I think everyone is with you on that with Azerife armor. Yeah, I'm not a big fan. I don't really like it. Fasha, the wonderful Fasha, said, I'm enjoying Mythic Plus when I can get into one. I level requirements are so stupid and so reliant on guild groups. I'm not enjoying the one raid, too much trash, and that's from someone who ran Molten Core back in the day. I've clearly become used to less. You and me both. I think we both have been very, very spoiled with compared to Molten Core trash. God, all those packs, I remember that you had to be so careful with pulling those, but yeah, I don't, from what I've, the one LFR I've done, I didn't really enjoy any of it, so, maybe it's just not the raid for me. That could also be it. Wizard Life Studios said, the class balance disappoints me since I have been playing a balanced druid. I wanted to raid with Feral, but, it is last in the DPS ranking. Balanced druid is second to last. Oh no, I'm really sorry to hear that. I used to play druid, like, forever, for donkeys, and I used to love balance a lot, so I'm really sorry to hear that. I thought they were actually going to be upped again. I heard some positive news, but must have been wrong then. I'm so sorry to hear that. Are they getting a buff? Does anyone know? Spanky Hunter. I think it's in a good state. Lots to do, lots of variety. World PvP is a hoot. Sure, there are issues, but hey, that's every X-Pack. It's a WoW thing. If the community isn't talking about something, then it's not normal. Cleared LFR on the first day of each wing. All reps done. I'm happy. Wow, you've been busy, Spanky, because honestly, I haven't even been that efficient. You sound incredibly efficient. It's good, I think, with the whole, there's something to do, and of course, you're right, there's always something that they could improve on. At least, it still doesn't feel like Kata. And I know that's horrible to say, but it really doesn't feel like Kata, so that's a good thing. Tyler said, BFA in one word, diverse. A sort of happy being in a raiding guild and having just completed AOTC. Oh, I don't even know what the abbreviation is, guys. I'm really sorry, but my brain is just full of snot. I think the Azurite gear needs a lot more tuning than they are letting on. My hope is for more challenging content and more innovative traits on gear, things we can see and feel. That would be interesting. Yeah, especially the traits on gear, and that you can actually see what impact it might have or feel the impact on it. I agree with you. I really agree with you. And I like the word diverse. That's a good word for this expansion. Hexclavier said, I made 120 on my Alliance main within the first week. I'm almost 118 on my Horde, Demon Hunter. I'm loving the zones and the story. I actually enjoy the island expeditions to help level. I'm not as thrilled with the Azurite gear as I was with the Legion artifacts, weapons, or the whole journey. You know what? That's the first. I didn't know that the island expeditions are good to level. Are they actually? Because I might have to switch that up then with my warrior. Or whatever character I tend to pick now. Again, I need your input. Hint, hint. But yeah, that's a good one. I didn't think of that. So maybe I have to, rein in my dislike about the island expeditions. Right, so my opinion, and I think a lot of people have said that about the Azurite gear compared to the artifact weapon and the Order Hall journey. As much as I feel like I love the story in BFA, like probably a lot more than in Legion, because I don't have much with the Legion, I do feel that the significance of the Hearth of Azeroth is not as great as your legendary weapon or the Order Hall journey, because I do like that story of progression a lot more in that. The fact that you also saw, Class Hall, and you saw the other races from the other side, from Alliance or Horde together. I like that, and I do miss that a little bit. I do feel like Azeroth gear doesn't feel as epic as it came out, when they announced it. And now it just feels a bit like, meh. Other than that, I am really, really liking Battle for Azeroth, even though I don't have, much to do at the moment. It's not that I don't have much to do, it's that I don't want to do much. I don't want to go out and grind and do world quests. I don't want to do certain things for rep. It's probably just my laziness. And also, last time we had web grinds for allied races, I was really late with everything, and I still managed to do it. And considering the game has not even been, up to 8.1, why should I really rush myself at the moment if I'm not enjoying that? So that's just how I'm playing it out now, and I just want something else to focus on, so I need another tune. I know some of you will say, go and play Alliance, but I just can't at the moment. I don't know what it is, and it's nothing against Alliance, because I've played Alliance for a very long time. I am just not the story is not grabbing me there, and I don't know why. I just get very easily distracted by everything, and I'm not that into the story, or the setting is beautiful, but it's just not me at the moment. I'm having much more fun doing everything in Zuldazar. Sorry, maybe I am a dire Horde now, I don't know. So yeah, sorry about that, guys. But yeah, that's really it for this week. I'm sorry it's a bit of a shorter show. Like I said, I'm just not feeling great. I'm hoping that it will be over within a few days, because I have so many interviews planned with so many wonderful people. I can say that I am talking to Taliesin and Evitel at the moment, so hopefully we can come to a time in a day, and then we can, repeat our interview that we had before. Yeah, I don't even really have a topic for next week, but I'm going to suspect it's going to be about your BlizzCon wishes and predictions. So even if that's not going to be the topic, I do want to know about your BlizzCon wishes, wants, predictions. Is there going to be a mic drop moment? Those kind of things. So yeah, let me know all about that. And of course, you can do that on Twitter. Just tweet me at, is that the word? Tweet me at whispers_of_war. Or, of course, you can email me if you want to make it very, very long. I'm very happy with that. whispersofwarpodcast@gmail.com. If you want to find out more about the show, just go to whispersofwar.podbean.com. Thank you so much, guys, for all your support. I think I tweeted I tweeted a picture of the downloads for the last 10 shows, and I am absolutely blown away with the support. The way that you guys have been so incredibly welcoming and warm, and I'm really, really enjoying podcasting again, despite feeling like I have crud. It's great doing this. I really, really love just interacting with you guys. So have a wonderful week, and I hope to hear you all next week, and we're a little bit closer to BlizzCon, guys. I still don't have a ticket, just so you know, but I'll see what I can do. Bye!